single day, it feels like a new home run record is broken in baseball. Cool for us, but not so much for pitchers like Justin Verlander. Having a Cy Young type season, still giving up a career high in homers. You're going to miss Hockey Lee's biceps?
Of course.
I know you are.
Now this leaves more time for us to work out together, though. So.
Who? You and Hockey
Me and Ed
Lee?
Hockley. Yeah.
I thought you were saying me and you.
No, you got a lot of work to do before you can.
Jay Gruden said, I want to give Case Keenum ample time to be successful. But like you point out, this is what happens when you have a head coach who's on a different timeline than the fans and the GM and the owner.
And the reason why you shouldn't wear goggles because then you don't feel the burn.
Why do you need to feel the burn? You can feel the elation of having won your division.
Spoken like a guy who's never felt the burn.
Unbelievable. That was a burn. I felt the burn now. Your first year on the Eagles, and you're in the NFC East. Let's have a little fun with this. What running back are you most looking forward to dropping in the backfield? Saquon Barkley or Ezekiel Elliott?
They're both really good, but since Ezekiel's not really on the team right now, I'll go with Saquon.
Okay, you're going with Saquon. Good, and that's a good point. Zeke, he's not even in camp yet. You know who wasn't in either of your top 5 MVPs? A guy who got another triple-double last night, and that's Nikola Jokic.
The Joker.
I mean, look, I know a lot of eyes aren't on Denver night to night, but what does this guy got to do to really break through nationally? What do you think, Rip?
Well, I think that
Help their defense.
New Orleans are 1.5-point favorites, maybe because this one's in New Orleans. Real quick,
Totally.
Are you more excited about watching that game or the Packers-Green Bay game?
It's tough.
All right, so look, Emery, I'm not saying that I don't love to watch Appalachian State, Western Michigan, BC, and Tennessee because I love college football, but I really like to have action on the big games. So what's your pick? Notre Dame at Georgia, Bulldogs 14.5-point favorites. Breaking news into CBS Sports HQ. Former MVP Bryce Harper is joining the Philadelphia Phillies on a 13-year, $330 million deal. That's the latest from our MLB insider, Jim Bowden. It is the largest contract in any major league sport ever. Well, let's bring in our GM, Jim Bowden, who I said confirmed that news, 13 years, $330 million. So, Jim, take us behind the scenes. You've dealt with Scott Boras in the past. How did he engineer this record-breaking deal? Lou Williams went off again, which isn't a surprise. Someone asked him, why don't you start? Why aren't you a starter? He said, because no one's ever offered me that role, and I'm no coach, but maybe it should be that way after what we saw last night. Warriors and the Clippers, Game 5. Remember last time Lou Williams went off, the Warriors blew that 31-point lead. Well, Kevin Durant and Lou were on last night. First, Lou Williams, baseline J, good. He set his own tone early, 18 points in the first half. The Clippers went into the half up 8. So this was no blown lead situation. Pat Beverly with the 3. Steve Kerr said, I thought Beverly came in, kicked our butts right away. 17 points, 14 boards, 0 turnovers for the point guard. All right, and one there for Kevin Durant in the fourth quarter. They're down 10. Now the Warriors down 2. A dunk, and we're tied. Warriors down 1 again. Another dunk. The go-ahead dunk. A playoff career high for KD, 45 points. However, Sweet Lou was on, and he was clutch. From downtown, puts him up 2, up 3 after a made free throw. Lou Williams, 33 points, 10 assists, 11 in the fourth quarter. The Yellow Jackets at Clemson, and that means they are showing off that national championship trophy. Coming down the hill, touching the rock, through the gate, and there's the man of the hour. Some think the man of the year, the Heisman maybe, for Trevor Lawrence, the sophomore. And he scores the first touchdown of Clemson's 2019 season, a 6-yard rushing touchdown. Clemson on top 7-0. Later on in the first quarter, same score. All the rushing highlights should go to Travis Etienne all year. This, the best of his 3 scores, 90 yards to the house. Etienne said, I don't worry about who's watching us. I'm just trying to go 1-0 every week. Nose to the grindstone with that kid. All right, earlier we saw the skills on the ground from Trevor Lawrence. We know he's got the arm too, showing it off here. 62 yards to T. Higgins, who just high points it. Domination in man-to-man coverage. He had 4 catches for 98 yards in that score. Clemson goes on to roll 52-14. We said 37-point favorites. They won by 38. So Vegas off by just a point. Somehow they can tell the future. The Twins have their doubters, which makes sense. They kind of came out of nowhere. Still, they are the best team in baseball in average runs, home runs. So maybe history will convince some folks. The Twins could set a record this series for consecutive games with a home run. Good luck, though, against the champs just hitting their stride. The Red Sox trying to win 5 in a row last night. It was a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel, so forget all that offense we talked about. Rick Porcello on the bump for Boston. Assistant pitching coach Brian Bannister says it had a big game feel. His favorite game to watch this year from a pitching perspective. So that meant, on the flip side, Jose Barrios was great. He's been great. Last 4 starts, 24 Ks, 6 walks. Dominant on Monday. He matched a season high in Ks with 10 in his longest outing of the year. Jackie Bradley Jr. felt it too. Swing and strike, you're out. Let's go to the 9th inning. This one would stay close. Boston on top 1-0. Man on second, 2 outs. Blake Parker relieved Barrios, and he promptly gives up a double into the gap. JD Martinez comes around to score. Red Sox up 2-0. You think Parker was upset with himself? He was. Red Sox win 2-0.
Until this week, social media videos were our only look at the enormous potential of Jalen Smith.
Jalen Smith is the best player in the draft.
Some doctors said Smith may never play football again after this injury in his last college game. He tore a ligament in his knee and suffered nerve damage, but last year the Cowboys made him a second-round pick anyway.
Absolutely. You're so happy for the kid.
And now, 18 months later, we finally got a look at Jalen Smith on the practice field.
Oh, there's no question. Like I've said, he's the complete package. Physically, mentally, I mean, it's a matter of time before he's a dominant player. He's put the work in, so it's been fun for me to be able to work with him.
You know, coming off a severe injury, I understood that it was going to be a process, and I truly embraced it. So, now that I'm getting back to football and participating with, being a part of the team, being a part of the guys, really being a part, it's just embracing it.
Anyone who's been around Jalen says they're impressed by how far he's come physically, but most of all, they're in awe of his attitude.
It's been consistent, it's been remarkably good, and that started all the way back when we first met him, back at the combine and through the draft process, and that's one of the reasons why you take a chance on someone like this with the injury that he had.
And that's how he's built. And every day's a great day, and he comes into meetings prepared. He goes in the weight room, same guy every single day. Really admire that.
Now, having a great attitude is one thing, but the old expression, we won't know a lot until the pads go on, definitely applies to Jalen. So we won't really know how much he can contribute until training camp in late July.